All right, time for another Josh cast, which I'm going to do again. Not driving. That's what I'm going to try. I'm going to try doing this, staying in one place so I can focus on it without having to worry about death. Although, who am I kidding? I'm going to worry about death even when I'm not driving. But, so, yes. What am I discussing? What is the topic du jour for the podcast today? Well, here, let's start with this. My hair, which I thought I was going to be bald by now, because every male member of my family was either balding or totally bald by the time they were my age. I'm 38. And somehow I still have hair. Knock on wood, I think. Poo, poo, poo. But my hair is really starting to turn gray. And it's really turning gray this year. I have no idea what might have happened, what might be transpiring to cause my hair to turn gray. No idea what kind of global catastrophe might be influencing this. And I think I actually like it. I think I love it, actually. I love the gray because I want to, even though I have nothing to back it up, I feel like the older I look, the more maybe people will, it's going to be slightly easier to fool certain people into thinking I know what I'm talking about. Oh, well, he has wisdom because of the gray hair. So it'll buy me about 30 extra seconds of a conversation before someone goes, oh, he's an idiot. Okay, got it. But I think more than that, what I like about it is now when I'm walking by a mirror and I look and I see the gray hair, it reminds me that, oh, right, I don't give a shit anymore. Because everyone I know says, well, the older they got, the less that they gave a shit about other people's opinions. And I really am excited to enter that phase where I don't care anymore. I'm going to say what I think and think what I say, which sounds dangerous given this day and age because there's certain people who use that as a way to say horrible things. I don't want to get too political here, but I think we all know who we're talking about. So, there's that going on. I'm actually really tired right now. It's the end. I'm trying to do this the night before I release the podcast so that in the morning the podcast will just be there and I can be worrying about what's going on in the moment there. So I think that's a good plan, right? It's a good plan. I think I'm dealing with depression again. I think I'm feeling, what I'm noticing is that as different yearly milestones hit while living in this coronavirus quarantine, every little thing that happens, like, oh, no, now it's August, now it's September. Everything that happens, it's like another reminder that we're in a new era. And it's it's just another reminder that we're in this lockdown. And I've talked about this before. There are elements of the lockdown that I enjoy, actually, and large parts of my life have not really changed that much because of the lockdown, but I know that there are days where this really wears on me. I just kicked a chair. Chair's fine, presumably. My mom once told me that all living things and all dead things have a spirit. So I may have pissed off the spirit of the chair, the spirit of the office chair. What kind of spirit is that office chair? Is it an ancient spirit that started in nature and somehow ended up in an office chair, or is it the spirit of something office related? Is there a dead accountant in my chair? That's the question I'm asking. I guess. The spirit of a dead accountant. Is that where we go when we die? We just our spirit is transferred to the furniture that resembles our occupations. So that means every medical bed is a dead doctor, and every writing desk might be a lawyer or a novelist. We just are transferred to furniture when we die. Wouldn't that be amazing if that was it? I mean, I guess I'm going to become an office chair. That's the next life. Is someone sits on top of me and worries, and that's the next life. This is a weird direction this went in. What was I talking about? Yeah, the lifestyle. This lifestyle is the lifestyle. The coronavirus lockdown, I find, is very taxing and very tiring and scary, because it's live in isolation or risk being infected. And then if I'm infected, am I going to live or am I going to die? Am I immune? Do I have a compromised immune system or not? Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea about this. Nobody knows anything. We are blind, flying blind. And so there is uncertainty, and the uncertainty of it is beginning to wear me out. The irony is there is always uncertainty. I've talked about this before on this podcast. There's always uncertainty, even when I think there's certainty. But this does feel a tad more uncertain than usual. Will we return to less uncertain times? I don't know. But I feel weary of this. I like using the word weary because I can pretend like I'm an 18th century novelist. The kind of person who doesn't go on a walk, they take a constitutional. That's what I feel like. Mrs. Johnson, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is the spirit that's inhabiting your office chair is benevolent. The bad news is the spirit wants to audit your taxes. Well, does the spirit have the authority to audit my taxes? He does, yes. He wants to make sure you have all your receipts from the past 2 years, so can you provide that by next Monday? Monday's bad. Can we do Tuesday? Let me commune with the Spirit. How about Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday's fine. Okay. Then you and the Spirit will commune on Wednesday. How will I communicate with him? You sit on him. He's a chair. It's not that hard. You just sit on the Spirit and go through your taxes, and it'll be fine. Frankly, that sounds a little. It's sounding a little like he might, like we need to call the police. Frank, no. You don't need to call the police. This is a tax matter. Can I at least talk to a living member of the IRS? Listen. If given the choice between dealing with a real-life member of the IRS and the spirit of an accountant in an office chair, I'm telling you, go with the spirit of the accountant in the office chair. All right. So yes, I'm feeling very weary and very tired. And weary, tired, uncertain, scared. But then when I think about it, I was feeling that way before all this happened. I think, here's the thing that's ultimately bothering me right now at the moment, is that I don't feel, I just haven't been feeling fulfilled lately in anything I'm doing. I've been doing shows on Zoom, which have been going fine, but lately, even if they go fine, I'm still feeling empty. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're on Zoom, by the way. It has to do because I've gone through this feeling before. That's the big realization that I have made. That even though the world has drastically changed and my life seemingly has drastically changed, I feel like every day I'm doing the same things and the neuroses stay the same. And the major lesson for me is that I don't think, whether I achieve my dreams or not, I don't think it's going to affect my overall happiness and my overall sense of peace and equanimity. It doesn't, whether I become the greatest comedian in the world and have a huge following or not, one way or the other, I seem to come back to this general sadness and depression. So if anything, I should rejoice, because there's nowhere for me to go. I'm already there. Or maybe the deeper thing to admit is that I really need to work on myself, and that I need to get out of the idea that these outside things, this success or this money, none of those things are going to make me feel better. Though I will say, I don't need to feel better. I just don't want to be worried about money. So if I have to choose between being depressed and poor and being depressed and rich, I'm going with depressed and rich. I don't want to... Listen, when I finally, overdose on pills, I want them to be the brand pills, not the off-brand pills, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That got very morbid, but I want to go out in style. I want to buy the gun new. I don't want to have to buy the gun on layaway. Do you buy something on layaway? Yeah, I don't want to have to go and get it at a pawn shop. I want it, I want brand new. Only the best for my misery, my friends. Only the best. So, what do I do to feel better? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is I should eat better. I'm eating too much sugar. And even though I feel great while I'm eating the sugar, I feel tired and bloated afterwards. Here was the other realization I made, speaking of all this. I'm 38, and that means I should not be with 20-year-olds. That's gross. That is now gross. Is it fair for me to say that? It feels gross to me, because I'm too old. I don't want to be that guy who's I don't want to be that guy. I just really don't. But by the same token, I feel like any woman who's my age, I think wants a man who's a little bit farther along in their lives. They have things like, a full apartment and a future, and I don't have that either. So I feel really disconnected. And I don't know what am I going to talk about with someone who's in their 20s? TikTok? Although I got to say I'm a huge fan of TikTok because it's pissing off the power. It's pissing off the elite. That's neat. But then I have to remind myself that when I say these kinds of things, or when I assume that all women in their 30s are not going to be interested in me, it's a very narrow view. That there might be a woman out there who is looking for a challenge. There might be a woman out there who emotionally has not figured anything out, has already made one or two bad decisions and needs to make one or two more before she can finally get her life together. And I could be one of those mistakes. So why am I selling myself short? I ask you. Now, it's interesting because I'd always conceived this podcast as being, sketches or doing a lot of sketches. Kind of like the one I tiddled around with in the middle here. But, I don't know, tonight, that's because I'm tired. I'm trying to figure this comedy thing out. I just want to create something that is, I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be stupid, and I'm not feeling particularly silly right now. So if I don't want to be stupid, I guess what I should do is be smart. And if I want to be smart, I need to make an incisive critique of my own emotional well-being, or the lack thereof, which is what I'm attempting to do. But at the same time, this also has to be entertaining. How can this be entertaining? Well, I need to see, that's the thing. I'm obsessing now over the fruits of my actions instead of dealing with the actions itself. How do I achieve equanimity? How do I achieve enlightenment? Which is interesting because I think that's the exact same thing my mother is looking for. We're both trying to achieve enlightenment. And neither of us are meditating, which is a big problem in the quest for enlightenment. Neither of us are doing the basic number one thing that the Buddhists say to do when trying to achieve enlightenment. Neither of us are doing it. We're running around going, all we want is enlightenment. All we want is enlightenment. Run into the Buddha. You're supposed to kill the Buddha when you meet the Buddha, which hopefully is a metaphor. Although maybe you shouldn't say that to Western civilization. They'll take it literally. But I just imagine talking to a Buddhist monk. I can't achieve enlightenment. Have you tried meditating? Have you tried taking the first step? Oh, God, no. No. What do you... I'm sorry. I said I want to achieve enlightenment. I didn't say I'd realistically actually achieve it. Don't get me wrong. Yes, meditation. That should be... I have meditated before. I have felt better when meditating before. And I am not meditating now. I have stopped meditating. It is a 10-minute thing that I could do when I first wake up. And I have stopped doing it. I keep stopping. Why do I keep stopping? And this is where people have said in the past, well, you must be getting something out of being miserable. And then I ask myself, is it possible to achieve enlightenment through misery? Is misery the arrow that is shooting towards the target of enlightenment? And have I just described Judaism? Excellent questions. Truly excellent questions. No, it is not. What I should be doing is meditating and pointing out the thinking, because everything is thinking. Everything is interpreting and thinking. That's what the brain does. It interprets, it thinks, and when I just am aware of that it's all thinking, it's all creation, it's all in my head, then I achieve detachment, and when I am detached, things go from being horrible to a little less horrible. And I think that's Buddhism. I think. Buddhism. It's a little less horrible. That's a terrible pitch for Buddhism. In fact, that's probably highly insulting to most Buddhists. But I gotta say, if I have to choose between horrible and a little less horrible is nicer than horrible. So what does this mean? I'm really I think what this means is that I've got to live life more. I've got to live my life more. And yet every time I've tried to actually do that, first, I don't even know what living my life means. You know, some people, it means, I want to go and visit Italy. I don't think I need to. I mean, maybe it would be nice, but I certainly don't want to travel right now. I once flew home to Denver for a couple of days to play video games with my friends. I flew over the Rocky Mountains, the most beautiful mountain range possibly on Earth, to play a video game with fake mountains. And I am proud of this. I proclaim this with pride to the heavens. But what does it mean to be alive? What for me is being alive? What for me is being alive? I think for me, it is the moment when the new joke works. And it gets the laugh. The first time. That for me is what is wonderful in life. And that's what makes this whole thing so hard. It is harder now to live in a world where I can communicate. So actually, wow, now that I think about it, what I have described involves human interaction, which is a shame, because on every other level, I hate human interaction. This is the one human interaction I like. That's unfortunate. That makes me even more depressed. But the question is, can I get to the point where I'm free of even that? Can I get to the point where I write the joke, and whether or not I know it works, I am okay with it? No, I can't. Because the last thing I want is to write a bunch of jokes, think to myself, I'm brilliant, and have Seinfeld come along and go, why has this person not been executed? So I'm doing it for approval. I need approval. How can I let go of the approval? Well, I would argue that a good first step in letting go of the approval is doing this podcast right now. Because no one is around to hear this. And I'm going to publish this. And I have absolutely no idea if anyone is even going to listen to it. According to the Lipson statistics, 4 people are downloading it. I don't know if I am all 4 of those people. And I don't know if they are getting anything out of this. I don't know if I am getting anything out of this. But I think the one thing I want to do on this particular podcast is I don't want to resort to cheap tricks. Because I think for me, lately, the funniest stuff comes in discovery of what is actually happening in my life, when I actually look at what I am doing. What I am doing right now is I am pacing in the office, dictating this into my phone, into equipment that is supposedly not as good as the equipment I should be using. And my thinking is, I want this to be a comedic podcast. So I'm going to spend 25 minutes being intellectual and slightly depressing, and hope that somehow, in this soup of intellectual masturbation, I will find a joke that I really enjoy. And I would rather be doing this than getting laid. And folks, if you can come up with anything funnier than that, I double dog dare you. You know what? Let me amend that. I would want to, if I had to choose between this and getting laid, I would go for the third option, which is both. Not at the same time. I do not want to record a podcast while getting laid. That's weird. I should end this podcast. There have been endpoints. I would argue that the first 30 seconds had an endpoint. You know what? The endpoint for this podcast might have been even before the podcast. But here's another thing that I want to get away from doing. I want to stop overly beating myself up and thinking that's entertainment. I'm beat up enough naturally in life. I don't need to push it for comedic effect. The comedy is there if I simply describe to you what my actual life is, which is that I am recording this podcast in an office of a comedy club that is closed because there is a virus. Right now, I'm attempting to be funny, alone, in an empty office. With a scanner that doesn't quite work anymore. So now I got to take the USB drive and copy the document to the USB. It used to just scan to the shared drive, which was so much easier. But now I got to copy it to the USB, and I got to take it past the office chair that contains the spirit of what I can only guess is an accounts receivable person from another time who didn't ever think in his wildest imagination that the next life would involve living in an office chair, listening to a Jew record a podcast at 10:15 p.m. on a Sunday. But what does it all mean? What is the point I am trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is that I've managed, in the middle of a global pandemic, to still somehow be the same intellectual or pseudo-intellectual or neurotic, there's the word I'm looking for, the same neurotic mess that I was before this. Like there was a period when the pandemic started where I felt freer and actually calmer. And I was helping other people around me who were freaking out. I've lost that now. Now I've reverted to... Have I reverted? No, I kind of haven't. I kind of haven't. It goes back to the thing with the gray hair. Like I'm beginning to feel this shift where I don't care what other people think. And when I have an opinion, I'm saying my opinion loudly. If I'm angry, I'm angry. If I'm sad, I'm sad. And I'm letting it be. And it feels goddamn wonderful. I love doing shows on Zoom, by the way. I know I shouldn't, because it's not the cool thing, and the big-name comedians are complaining about it. I understand why big-name comedians are complaining about performing on Zoom. They're used to performing in front of gigantic auditoriums. I am used to performing in front of 10 people. So for me, this transition has been seamless. And I am lonely. Yes, I am lonely, and I want to have sex. But I'm terrified of a bad relationship. I'm terrified of making all the mistakes that you make in a relationship, and I don't feel like I've met anybody who I click with who also clicks with me. And I don't want to meet them online. I literally am leaving it up to fate. If I meet them, I meet them. And if I don't, I don't. And I don't want to pursue. I do not want to pursue somebody. Nobody needs to be pursued. I don't even like, when I think about all the words that I'm used to using that describe the dating process, they all sound horrible to me. They sound violent. Even the, you've got to, pursuing a woman, that it's a romantic conquest. I'm sure other comedians have touched on this, but this notion of how the warlike words that are used in describing the dealing with the opposite sex, romantic conquest. It's or that sex is that pursuing a woman is like a dance. I don't want to dance. I don't want to do the flamingo. I want to take. I don't want to do any kind of dance with a woman. I want to carefully walk near the woman on padded carpet with attorneys present. You know what? The other thing too is I don't want to conquer a woman. I hate that idea of conquering. I don't want to conquer a woman. I don't want to I want someone to be as interested in me as I am in them. That's not conquering. That's not even it's not a hostile takeover. Like it's a good-natured merger. CBS Viacom. Like I think that, I don't know if that was a good-natured merger or not. But it's, you think the merger where you keep both names. It's not where one absorbs the other. I don't want to be an amoeba here and absorb something else. That's what I want. I do not want a conquest. I don't want to Teddy Roosevelt this thing. This is a Jimmy Carter kind of thing that I'm looking for. That's what I want. Which is a very long way of saying I want her to make the first move. "32 minutes. I could stop. I should stop. I don't feel like stopping. I want to keep going. Just a few more minutes. The other thing we should address, am I bisexual? A little bit. I find myself occasionally attracted to the same sex. But it's not as strong as being attracted to a lady. But what does that even mean? That's ridiculous. If I'm sometimes when I'm attracted to a guy, I am attracted to a guy. That I am what I am, and I am quoting the song from La Cage aux Folles. Does that make it challenging? A bit. But I'm tired of denying it. I haven't denied it for a while. I've been honest about it. But I don't want to, again, I don't want to, that's the thing. I don't want to pursue a relationship. I don't want to hunt for something. I want it to be, how about this? I'll throw this at you. I want the relationship to occur naturally, to be the natural expression of the life I'm already living, that it just kind of happens. And I know everyone tells me I'm crazy. No, you got to go out there. You got to play the field. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Again, why are we comparing another human being with a fish? So you're saying that I'm supposed to throw out a line with something that looks like the whole fishing is tricking the fish into thinking it's eating something good for it, and it's really going to its death. Is that what you're saying I need to do with the opposite sex? Yes, that is what everyone is saying I need to do with the opposite sex. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fish like that. If that is the metaphor we are going for, then I want to go up to the water, dunk my head in the water, and go, I would like to have some fish. If you are okay with this, here's my number. But I only would want to do this if you are okay with this. I do not want to trick you into coming to be eaten by me. I'm not liking where this metaphor is going at all. All right, I think we're good. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put this out there. Hopefully hopefully people don't hate me after this. I don't think I said anything that bad. We'll see. I tried to just be honest. Hopefully it's funny, but I don't know that there wasn't a lot of joke structure there. There wasn't any joke structure there. There was a little bit of joke structure. Let's be fair. I bumped into maybe 2 punchlines in 30 minutes. But hey, it's better than 0 punchlines in 30 minutes. And you know what? I don't even know if it's 2 punchlines because no one is around to laugh. The trees are falling. Who knows? Who can tell?